welcome all for just set up for everybody to come along and have a chat. G'day, James. How are you, mate? You there, James? You there, James? Testing, testing. Testing, testing. 1, 2, 3. Testing, testing. Okay, guys, so this is set up for everybody can have a chat. Just in case Popolot or anyone else has issues with connections. I don't care if anyone gets on or not. I'll check in once I've got all my shit done and see how everyone's going. I'll put a link to the chat in the chat.
That's why I said get it off for it keep there.
What's happening, Mark? You alright? Is this hangout going? Oh, Oh, so this is not one. Is it live? Somebody answer.
Is this Hangout live then? Am I in there?
Yes.
Okay.
No one's saying anything.
I know. Do you know what? Yeah, but I came in there a second ago and there was hardly no one in there. I think there was just a picture of Mark there, and nothing else. In fact, I hadn't even heard Mark even on it. Like he sent me an invitation earlier.
So he's just left it running live.
I think he has. Yeah. Who's Dom Seller? Dom?
Ain't that dude in here with, so I've heard you've been talking shit about me.
No, I think that's James. That's James Kinsella, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, is it?
It's a bit weird that there's someone called Dom Seller. That's a bit weird.
Because yeah, he put a flipping Hangout link up as well. In fact, he keeps offering to come and hang out. But and then drops it. He don't ever come on.
Hey guys. How are we all?
Certainly, and you're right, mate.
Yeah,
Who's
mate.
that? Very quiet.
Pardon me?
Alright, Mark.
Yeah, I just had a haircut, mate.
I know. Foxy, I thought you'd just escaped from Belkston there or something.
In fact, if you check the start of this hangout, I had long hair.
Yeah, what's going on, Mark? How comes there's two of you in here?
Because I have a second account running the server.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that because the laptop runs better with not running as a server, and the server runs like shit when I want it to be a normal chat. So they serve a purpose.
Okay.
Well, I can easily turn the camera on this one, and you can look at my back on the other side. Let's see. Yeah. What's everybody up to? What's fucking quarter to midnight over here, isn't it?
Oh, nice, man. Everyone's been planning hangouts and then just vacating, I think.
Well, that's why I thought, fuck it, I'll just leave this cunt running for like as long as it needs to until everybody seems to clear out, and I'll duck in and out. And if people want to have a chat,
It's
whatever.
12:45 at night here.
Sorry, James.
It's 12:45 at night here.
Oh. That's almost lunch.
A few people was getting a bit touchy about that David Icke post today, Dom.
What David Icke post?
The one, how much does he earn annually?
Well, didn't Jesse Ventura interview him and say, is it all about you earning 1.6 million a year?
And he got all stroppy and walked off, didn't he?
Yeah, didn't he say it was 1.6 million a year? That's the point I'm trying to make. It's like if you've got people like David Icke and like Alex Jones supersedes him by about 50 times 100. What are these guys like truly making per year?
Yeah, no, I totally hear you on that one. That's the note I left it on. I was like, people was trying to make out like we was attacking him like on a personal level, but I'm not even trying to look at it like that. I'm looking at it as, is he just branding truth and milking the general public to find out truth, like, or to even go and be enlightened?
No,
You know what I mean? He's making a brand of it.
he shouldn't be fucking charging people anything. If he wants the truth out, he shouldn't be fucking charging people any money.
Of course.
Right,
That's
I can get
that's the
people
whole
doing
point
it.
of the thing.
Right, I can get people doing like selling truth and all the rest of it, but if they're doing it on purely a commercial basis, then like they're going to be selling any alternative media that comes their way just to make themselves a quick buck. and that's not truth then.
What my point is, right, he's connected all these dots over the years, as he says, right? He's connected all these dots. How the fuck can he not bring the system down with all these dots he's connected? It's absolute bullshit.
It's like what Dom and Teo said though, man. If he really has got these dots connected and he knows as much as he says he knows, they would not be letting him sell out Wembley. Yeah, they wouldn't even be, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's all a bit suspect. I mean, he does highlight.
If he knows as much as what he's saying he knows, how can he not bring a system down? Simple as.
What I want to know is, like, people like John Lennon got assassinated for less. Yeah,
Right.
they got assassinated for less just for saying people was dreamers, like, and he wasn't the only one. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't know, it's mad. How is David Icke preaching what he's preaching? And he's no better than any church for what he's preaching, because he's trying to rally up people and get people to come and hear his little speeches and that.
He has said 10 times worse what John Lennon has said. No, I mean,
That's what I'm
he's
saying.
still
Like, that's what I'm
alive.
saying. People have been assassinated for less.
Exactly.
I think
Why
it's
is that?
because originally didn't they have him on the mainstream media and then do the whole discredit thing and make him out to be a nut job, and it's taken him like 30 odd years.
Yeah, I mean,
credibility,
that's what I said. I see him on that Terry Wogan show. I've said this a few times, and they mocked him. They had him on the show simply to make him a laughing stock in his shell suit. Like, this
So
guy
they
believes
needed
in
someone.
aliens.
Yeah, they needed
Yeah.
a monkey in a cage to throw some peanuts at occasionally or something. You know, it's just like, I suppose you could kind of construe the old fear porn of Alex Jones in the same way. You know, it's truth coated in a whole lot of fucking look out. You know, it's
It leaves one. Yeah.
But you've got to be able to disseminate all the shit from what's actually real.
You've got to siphon the truth from the bullshit, ain't you?
Yeah.
But that's what I was thinking. I was thinking, like, this guy, is he just out here to just have us all, like, because he's got there is a lot of truth in what he says, but then obviously it's like you say, it's coated in bullshit. So, but then does that make everybody tarnished? Like, anyone that believes any of this shit, we've said this a few times, anyone that believes some of this shit must be crazy as well, because they must also assume that you believe in lizards and all sorts of fucking other bullshit that he talks like.
Don't get me wrong, he talks a lot of truth, but what he says, right? He's got a lot of truth, and he can't back it up with, like, absolute proof, so he can take it to a lawyer or to take these people down. No, I mean,
Verifiable.
Aye. I don't know how to put it in the words.
I think he's a distraction tactic, really. I think because like you say, he does highlight a lot of important issues and, like, legitimate issues, but then starts to waffle on about other stuff, and do you know what I mean? It just gets tedious. It becomes ridiculous, like, that you could even expect people to come and pay to come and watch and listen to it. Like you said, this sort of stuff should be available. It is available. Do you know what? Like Stephen Duffy said, though, it's all available on the net. Like, if you go and look for it, this guy has simply just highlighted a few things and pointed people in the right direction. And for some reason, he expects a minimum of £35 a ticket in Wembley Arena for this. Like, I don't know what sort of merchandise he's selling at these shows either.
No, I mean,
sorry, what was that?
I think it's about £60 a ticket.
Oh no, that's the minimum. That's the £35 is what I researched today. Is the minimum price of a ticket. I don't know what sort of seat that will get you. Like, it might get you a crooked neck or something. You know what I mean?
We had that, that David guy, not Ike, the guy with the blonde hair, the esoteric guy with Project Camelot, the young fella. I forget his last name, but we had him over here in New Zealand. They were charging almost $150, $160 a ticket. So what's it, £80? Yeah. So it doesn't matter where you are as well.
I mean, it's absolute bullshit, you know what I mean? You can get all this information on the internet wherever you want to go. You don't have to pay fucking money for it.
No, well, you're going into their game doing it, aren't you? Yeah.
And that's what makes me think is suspect, really, because is he preying on people that are lost, like, and they're searching for truth? Do you know what I mean? Because for us, all right, it's easy for us to say, yeah, we'll just go and search the net, or we'll look on different sources or whatever, and we'll source the information. But this guy is preying on people that don't feel that they can do that for themselves.
Right.
That's how I feel anyway. I think he is kind of preying.
Yeah, right.
Maybe he has got good intentions. Maybe we're wrong. Like, I'm not saying for 100% that like what we're saying is right. Maybe this guy has got good intentions, or maybe he's just got lost along the way. But from the way I see it, is he's profiting from people being lost.
So he's providing a service, so he should get compensated for it. And if people want to freely do it, so be it. But it's the people being able to distinguish the crap from the good, and you're sort of judging whether or not the information you get is worth the money you spend, I suppose. Whether or not the products and shit you get is worth it.
But when you start profiteering off people, you know what I mean? That's not right.
Monetising and shit. I won't even monetise my crap. I mean, I'm not interested in their money.
I don't mind people monetising their videos and whatever. Like, what are you getting back? Pence back for it, for whatever you monetise. But like say him, he's monetising fucking mega.
I don't know. Each to their own on that one. I mean, some people need money more than others. You know, everybody's situation's different.
Yeah, I mean, don't get it twisted. I know it's not cheap to be going around and spreading all your word. Like, obviously, it's going to cost you money. But I mean, this guy that was on the post earlier, he's like defending him, saying, he lives modestly, blah blah blah. And then I said, oh yeah, I've seen an apartment that he lived in, and he straight away shot me out like out of water. Like, oh no, that was the apartment he lived in with his wife, which was actually quite a nice apartment, if you could call it modest, I don't know. And then he said now he lives in a one-bedroom flat, which I haven't actually seen, but I would imagine it still looks pretty good, like looking at his last place. I mean, I know, and like he said, it ain't no council gaff. Do you know what I'm saying?
Right. So all the money that he's made off his books, right? He could hire somewhere and date for fucking free. That's the point.
Yeah, there's people out there that will quite happily put a venue up for all to nothing, just to help spread the word.
Yeah, like why do you necessarily need to be doing it in Wembley Arena? Do you know what I mean? There is other venues that would obviously be more economical.
Venues, more money, more revenue.
Yeah, but you may say bigger crowds. I totally hear you on that, Mark. But you're saying bigger crowds, like the guy's getting in like 5,500. That's the figure that I came up with today when I was researching it. And out of a 12,000 capacity Wembley Arena, he ain't filling it out, so there isn't really a need for him to be at Wembley Arena. It's for the name, it's for the do you know what I mean? It's giving him some form of status by just being in Wembley Arena.
Yeah.
It's crazy, like.
I get the point. It's hard to balance out, you know.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
He might say, well, like, you know, he's got to justify his costs and shit, but then when you hear things like 1.6 million. Well, fuck, that's pretty good justification, isn't it?
I like a lot of what David Icke says. I followed him for fucking years. But
yeah, same as that. I did for a little while. I was following him for a while.
But when he goes to that extent to start taking money off people, I'm like, that's not right. It's not right. If he wants to get the word out and join the dots and whatever, he shouldn't be fucking monetising it. And he doesn't need to do that.
I suppose the difference is between that and also donating. You know, if you want to hold a free venue and just have people donate, if they find it interesting and worth their money, then let it be their choice to do that. But not let it be a mandatory fee, I suppose. Right. But again, yeah, venue costs, depends, all the shit.
That's just me. I don't know if other people feel the same way, but that's my opinion.
Where's Dom gone? I wanted to ask him about this the Earth is flat thing. It's like we've gone from the Earth's gone, it's round. Wait, it was flat. It's round. Now it's flat again. We're in a hologram, and I've seen people really arguing this out. Like they're 100% sure that this is a flat, plain hologram world. Right.
Yeah, rock solid.
they sounded so rock solid out there. Like I was like,
Oh, God.
no. Killing me, like.
But you know, there was a time there. I mean, I remember going through. I guess you could say through the wormhole that is YouTube before you get to the other end of the wormhole, so to speak. You go through this process of learning all of the different ways that the world's going to end and destroy, and all hell's going to break loose in so many fashions. And then you come to the reality, fuck all I can do about it. And then you start to fucking break things down. Well, what can I control? What can I change? What can I fix? What can I do differently? What aren't I happy about? Ask yourself some questions. But you know, it takes a long process to get through all that shit because there's so much crap out there to get lost in.
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, people get lost. They get scared or that information, or go out half-cocked with a little bit of information and fuck it up royally for themselves. But you know, but it's all a learning curve, mate. I mean, we learn from our mistakes. So you know, if you don't go out and give it a whirl, you're not going to learn. If you don't go out in the sports field and throw the ball, you're not going to learn how to throw it better the next time. You know.
I mean, the argument was so futile. I mean, the guy was talking about how you would see the difference between, like, in buildings when there would be a gradient difference, and obviously he's saying that you should be able to see some form of curve. Basically, that's what he's getting at, because the Earth is round. But come on, if the Earth is so big, yeah, just because like the world's round, it doesn't mean...
People are putting points to point. They're putting straight lines instead of...
Yeah, I mean, he said he used the Bedford Canal or something. They said they used the Bedford Canal as an experiment with a telescope. Like, and I mean, just because that particular canal you can see straight along, that doesn't mean that the rest of the surrounding area isn't got some form of gradient or curve to it. Like, it just means that particular part of it is leveled off.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It means the canal is leveled.
Kane, you could liken that in a scalar way to getting a cut on your finger. If you look straight through the line of that cut, you've got a nice straight line through the line of where the blade sliced through, but either side has got that curvature of your finger. Same thing.
But I mean, in that video as well, similar to Ike,
the canal could have cut its way into a straight line through the curvature of.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly that. And that's what made me laugh. But like Ike, the guy also was saying in the video, he's saying a lot of stuff that is real, and he's pointing out a lot of things that do make sense. And then he comes out with this, so the Earth must be flat. It must be a hologram. And I was just like, no, this guy, is he convincing me or is he convincing himself? Like, I don't know.
He's missing the possibility is at the start of the sentence.
Yeah, I mean, this is where I get a bit lost with some people, because I feel like if you're trying to force feed me your beliefs, it kind of sends an alarm off in my brain, like I don't really want to believe you now. Whereas some people, some of these videos that I watch, they just break down the information. Here you go, this is the information, this is how I break it down. I don't want you to believe it, you don't have to believe it, but this is how it is. And those are the videos I like, really.
I did see a video not long ago when it was showing there that thing where people used to connect dot to dot, like straight through the Earth, but they weren't taking into consideration the curvature of the Earth. So the line would be totally different. You see that when they were connecting up, like Giza.
The dots, yeah.
The pyramids, and then to Mexico.
Was this the ley lines thing? I swear, James, didn't you were saying something about this before on Facebook when you were about the ley lines?
The 88th degree ley line and all the rest of them, and 322 degree ley line, and there's a lot of them.
Actually, yeah, as well. Do you know what else I was going to bring up? Don posted a video about South Africa. This guy, he found all these stones and that, and they ring like bells or something, and they was all laid out in this formation, and it was somehow harnessing the Earth's energy, similar to what we believed that, well, what some believe the pyramids was for, or of some kind. But I don't know. It was all. There's got to be a reason behind them laying all those stones out in them positions on them roads. And they said like there was no human remains found in there, yet there was
South
obviously.
African guy.
Yeah, the Ubuntu project.
Aye. I can't remember.
Yeah, I was talking to someone about this last night. I first talking to Gloss about it, but he weren't having it. He's saying my man's an idiot or something like. Gloss, if Gloss don't like someone, mate, that's it. He's letting them have it. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it's something to look into. I need to look into it a bit further, but there's a lot of stuff in, like, he was going into Adam's calendar and stuff like that, and the fact that the energy's around there, GPS goes mental, and the energy is similar to what they would call in science a portal. Whether it is actually a portal or not is another matter, but that's what it was likened to, which is quite strange, really. There's something worth looking into if none of you have read up on it or seen any videos on it.
Aye, there's thousands and thousands of them in South Africa, like circles. Is that what you're talking about?
Sorry, say that again?
There's thousands and thousands of circles. He's photographed them in South Africa.
Yeah, and they all kind of interlock. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, that's it.
Is that Michael Tellinger?
Tellinger, Michael Tellinger.
Do you know about the
Kubuntu
guy?
project?
Yeah, he's got some kind of Dutch guy with him, working with him. And but do you know what put me off of it as well? They said that they're starting a
society
political party, which kind of, that was halfway through the video. Like he's like, well, yeah, I'm gonna be running for. Apparently, I'm gonna be running for president next year. Oh, hold on a minute. Everything you just said has gone. The alarm bell. Yeah. The alarm bell started ringing again. Like I was like, hold on a minute. Like, oh, is this what it's all about? Are you trying to get into power now, or what?
Yeah, look at these pretty shekels over here. They're soft and padded. Yeah.
That's it.
But I mean, he did have some mad, like, although they was mad ideas. Like, I'll just run a few little things by you. Like, he was talking about having, like, say if I put a town and I put 5 surrounding towns, and each town specialises in producing one produce, and then each town will use each other in trade to keep each other going, basically. And he's saying in each town everybody will work 3 hours. This is in his theory, this hypothesis of his or whatever. He's saying like everybody can work 3 hours. Who's not going to want to work 3 hours? I'd work 3 hours if the town was going to work good. Like, do you know what I'm saying? But then we've grown up in, I don't know about you guys, but I've grown up in a city. Would I turn down city life to go and live in one of these towns to work 3 hours a day or whatever? Like, I don't know if I would. But then people there who haven't got much of a civilization or a society, maybe they would, and they'd be happy to do it, and they would strive. And do you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. There were some ideas that I thought was actually good ideas, but was they practical? Like,
it all sounds good. You know, I mean, it's the same as the Zeitgeist thing. That sounds good. But
the Venus Project.
The Venus Project, yes.
Yeah, Joss was talking about the Venus Project. What, is that a similar thing, is it?
Aye, it's the same, similar thing. Only down to basics. That's the old guy, the fucking, what's his name? No, the old guy. Joseph.
Paul Joseph Watson.
Paul Joseph. No, it's not Paul Joseph Watson.
Oh, Paul Joseph, sorry.
John Joseph, can't mind. But that's his thing in the Zeitgeist thing. But the old guy on it, he's
Jack Frisco.
Jack Frisco. Right. His ideas are brilliant, but is it going to work?
Again, it's just like another Ubuntu, isn't it? It's just another group of people that want to do things their way. Like some of the conical structures he were making that were anti-sort of hurricane or anti-cyclone. So no matter if anything went over it, they were shaped as like an inverse funnel. So whatever went to pick it up, it just couldn't get underneath it to lift up or destroy the house. Some of that shit was quite interesting. Some of the
His ideas were brilliant, but would it work in the real life?
but it's the application. Wow. That we had Bob Lot show up today.
What was that?
Has Bob Lot shown up at all today?
Bob said he was. I see him write a message. Said he's going to bed or something. He was on it earlier. He was on it, but I think me and you was both like, "What time?" You said you'd do it in half hour, and I was like, "What sort of time?" And then by the time we've all come round,
started up about 10, just after 10:30. Well, this morning, well, tonight for you, but and came back about an hour or so later. I just thought I'd leave it running and see who the fuck wanted to do whatever. Like I say.
I jumped in earlier on. It was
Yeah, I
dead.
saw that.
yeah, same as that. Yeah.
But when you guys join back up, do you see the actual text that I've previously typed in the chat box, or does it not show up?
No, there's
Some of
nothing
it shows up, but I didn't
It
see
just
any
says-
text that you put in
You
there.
can type a message in the chat box, and then whoever joins after that time won't see that message, or will they? Is my
Oh
question.
no, yeah, I
suppose.
think you have to join. I think you have to join before, and then after. If you leave, then you'll see the messages. Like,
Yeah, so you have to be a previous member to see it. That makes sense.
No, there's a wee. There used to be a no yours. There used to be a bit. There's a wee thing. Used to be a wee join thing.
Yeah,
Add people, but it's not on yours.
yeah, it's there. I'll show you on the server.
But it's not on mine. It's just the mic.
Yeah, no,
There's a wee people thing. Add.
yeah, for the add the invite. It's there on my server, but it's not there for any guests. But I just
Alright.
copy that link anyway and post it straight onto the YouTube when it's saying it's going live in the comments, so anyone can join. You know, that's the best way. Just so whoever wants to click on it can.
I actually watched one of your videos today, Mark, about the silver solution.
Oh yeah, the store bought
Yeah.
one. Yeah, it was pretty
I was
funky.
Where's the deal with this stuff? Because I mean, obviously, I only learned recently that silver has these antibacterial and thingy properties, like
Antifungal, antiviral.
and so like it was all new to me. Like I didn't know that people were drinking silver solutions and that. But then you done that test on it, and it's like there was 82 different things in it, extra in it, like that compared to what it
Yeah,
said
well,
on the
it was
bottle.
supposedly pure water. It was supposedly pure ionized water that had 10 parts per million of silver in it. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so my total dissolved solid matter should tell me that there's only 10 parts per million in the store-bought shit that's 10 parts per million. And it came back at 90 or something. So I'm sort of thinking,
Is there no
okay,
way of knowing
so
what
what's
those
the
other
extra?
82 parts are? Yeah, of course, yeah.
Fuck. Yeah, no idea, but I'm just going by what they say on the label, and if it's pure water,
Yeah.
but they don't say it's distilled water. They just say it's pure. So there may be trace elements in it, and that it's just picking up.
Like other
Who
knows?
knows?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, you know, like the distilled water I have here that's absolutely neutral, pH or whatever neutral you want to call it. It's it tastes disgusting. It really does, because there's no flavour to it whatsoever. There's no trace minerals that you can taste. Whereas the rainwater, with generally about 30 to 40 parts per million that we have here, and our it's just straight off out of the rain. Is 40, and you can taste that it's got a real yummy flavour to it, eh? Well,
It's mainly said. I've had a few people contest something that a water specialist told me, and basically he said to me, you couldn't just drink distilled water. He said you'd be ill before you knew it. It'd strip your body of all its minerals, just flushing your system.
Yeah.
Like your body would just lose minerals. Like your body laps up those minerals that it gets in water, and obviously it replenishes and flushes out at the same time. So as it's flushing your system, you're absorbing those minerals as you're flushing the other ones out. Whereas if you're drinking distilled water, it's actually just totally zapping your body of all minerals just to flush that through your system.
Depleting yourself. I mean, it's you're only wanting the distilled water so you can make the colloidal silver. You're not wanting the distilled water to drink it instead of normal drinking water. You're only making the distilled water for just as a base to make the colloidal silver in. So yeah, I wouldn't be doing that just to drink. Cross, it takes about 6 hours to make a 4-litre container of the stuff. So yeah, they'd go through it pretty quick around here if they have. But yeah, I make good 2-litre bottles of the colloidal silver, and that lasts well. Because on average, you have 20 to 40 mils a day, just as a boost for your immune system. It makes your brain sort of snap. You think a lot clearer too. There's no fogginess. Yeah. Well,
but so you've kind of put me off, like going and getting it like from a store or something. I mean, I was quite intrigued by it, but I don't really want to be going and buying a solution that I feel is a wonder solution, and it ain't what it says on the tin, sort of thing.
There's a couple of clips on YouTube where you've got one guy that looks like quite the old one, the garage chemist. And he's got all his beakers and stuff in the background, and he's showing you the difference between ionic silver, where they're made with an ionic solution. In other words, they're just electrifying the water and killing any nasty stuff and whatnot in it, and it's a clear solution, kind of like that stuff that was store-bought. And then he shows you the other stuff that's made through the electrolysis with the silver rods, and that comes out a very, almost like horse piss yellow, a urine yellow colour. But you let that settle because it's got all the heavy particles from the electrolysis when you're doing the colloidal silver process sinks into the water. I use a coffee filter to clean out the heavy particles, and then I just let it sit for a day or two and distill all the heavy shit at the bottom, and you've got this beautiful, clear, 20 part per million, absolutely pure water, and it's much better than the store-bought shit. And I mean, the silver rods cost what, $30 New Zealand, £15, and that in a power supply. Rip out a computer power supply, you got 12 volts, slap that across it for an hour and half a cup of distilled water, and you've got yourself a week's worth of colloidal silver. Or you can spend 15.
I'm an absolute advert for what not to do.
Pardon?
I said I'm an absolute advert for what not to do. Smoking, drinking.
Well, I don't drink alcohol at all. I know the evil to stay away from it. I tell a lie. I might have a 4-pack of a pre-mixed rum and coke on Christmas Day or something, just to make me go to sleep easier after the good meal. But that's about it. That's all I drink.
But it doesn't do me any harm, so I don't know.
Fucks you up. There's no point to it.
Maybe, I know. Maybe it does other people harm, I don't.
Oh, yeah. Everybody likes their own poison.
Yep.
Don't we all?
Exactly.
But yeah, a lot of
My
people.
network's a bit crap.
One of the things I find that you find with a lot of these people, they're getting busted for growing and stuff. It seems to be the size they get. A lot of people just they go bigger and bigger and then noticed. It's ridiculous. Or they start to think, oh, they can make some money from this, and that's when they get caught. Stupid. If you're doing it for yourself, you do it for yourself. You don't do it for any other purpose. Otherwise, you're just leaving yourself open.
No.
Well, that's my personal opinion. I've known a lot of friends that have had their lives fucked up quite badly from that shit. And it doesn't matter what drug we're talking about. You pick your fucking poison. But yeah. I'm all for anything in moderation is fine. You've got to try everything once or twice.
I don't know about everything. I don't know about everything.
Well, yeah, okay, almost everything. We're not talking rectal intrusion by bananas or anything like that.
How's it going, Steve? You right, yeah?
All right,
hey, Steve.
Yeah, not
There
too
you go.
bad, mate.
Hey, man. You good, Steve?
I'm just interrupting the conversation to say hello, but now that I've said hello, sorry for interrupting you.
Nah, you're
No,
right.
that's it. I'm just talking shit, mate. Go for it.
That's
Hello,
all right.
Stephen.
All right, how you doing?
Hey, how are you?
No bad. I've met you before, haven't I?
I don't think so, but you sound very familiar.
You from Glasgow?
Maybe in
Yes.
Bopalots, yeah.
You two got to be from like near each other, surely. You got very similar tone in your accents.
Aye, I'm from Glasgow.
I'm not for the city of Glasgow. I'm on the borders of the Connor Basin of Glasgow. I refuse to have any association with local government. And that's me putting the world to rights, you know.
Okay.
That's the way, Steve.
The coffee.
So Steve, you wasn't too well. I feel like you was a bit. You was kind of fighting David Icke's corner. Not that I was really attacking David Icke. I was just trying to get to like find out how much he was earning in the year, just for the simple fact of how much is he profiting from like these shows that he's doing at Wembley Arena and that. Not for any malicious attack at David Icke, but just for the fact that I wanted to know. Like, it was just a good question that he asked, and I just thought, you know, I might try and research it. But you was kind of fighting his corner there, Steve. All right. Can you hear me? I think my network's wank today.
No, you're okay. I can hear you. You there, Steve? You got any problems?
Sometimes Steve's got a bad signal. There you go.
Yeah, he's dropped it.
He's lost it, yeah. It's happened to me a couple of times.
Must have been my Scottish accent that fucking put him off.
There's nothing wrong with Scottish. Nothing wrong with the Scottish.
No, we're good people.
What's the Venus project all about?
That's it, Jacques Fresco.
What does he want? Does he want communities and all that stuff?
He talks about almost like an Atlantean type city where you have your rings and you have your main hub and you have like spoked rings and central points where everything's set out to be equal sort of distances and better travel, and everything's, you know, very much New World Order, but everything's there. And if you want something, like you go into a library, if you need a toaster, you go in and you get a toaster, you don't pay for it. And then when you're finished using whatever it is that you're using, you just bring it back for the next person. And things are made to last and all of that sort of jizz and jazz. You know?
So like one big communal area, basically.
Yeah,
It's like a utopian kind of a fucking life.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys ever saw the movie called Logan's Run. You remember that?
Aye. Yeah.
They're only allowed to live till 30, and then they went for enlightenment and got turned into bloody dust. Yeah.
The thing on your horn lit up. That's your timer.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, and you had that same one with Justin Timberlake with the time thing on his arm, where they just traded off their life. You know, it happens. Oh, Steve's back.
That was, see that film? That was so unreal. I watched that and I was like, my God, that's what's fucking coming. You need to fucking do stuff to get time back on your fucking your wee thing on your horn.
True.
Or your fate.
Back, Steve.
I get booted there. My phone ran out of charge. I had to switch batteries.
Oh, I figured it was a power problem.
Always is, isn't it? Especially at this time of year, there's no sunshine.
Yeah, it's getting shorter for you now, isn't it? Past the middle point.
There's been any sun since
Sorry, Steve?
You Kiwis, you should start importing it to us at this time of year, and we'll import it back in the summer when it comes to the northern hemisphere. Big pile of carbon out of the ocean every year.
We get sun for about 2 weeks of the year, if we're lucky.
Rocky. Hello, hello.
Oh, it's Stevie B. Fuck's sake, man. Didn't even recognise your voice there. Sorry, mate.
Hello, Tony.
Hello. That's some haircut you've got, Mark. There, what happened?
I went outside and there were electric shavers, and 10 minutes later, yeah, well, like you say, it's getting colder for you, but it's coming in the summertime for us. So, yeah, shaved it all off. Now I got this mean ass fucking scar to show off to people, and big holes in my fucking skull to point out and go, oh look. You know, when I was a younger kid, mate, I've had this shit since I was 15, since I had the brain aneurysm. And ever since I was a kid, mate, chicks would come up and go, fuck, that's a mean scar, what happened? I go, oh, you know, I got hit by an axe. You know, fuck, there's some gullible people out there, eh? Honestly, if I got smacked by a fucking axe right there, do you think I'd be walking and talking? Honestly. So anyway, things we do. I used to have an egg on my keys. Sorry? Karen?
Did you do it yourself, or was it a hairdresser that attacked you?
I did it myself. I go and pay $18 for the hairdresser, or I can go to a $2 shop and pay $19 for a shaving kit, and I've done myself and my boys in the last 3 days. So, you know, that's $54 if I was to go and buy it.
I'll not go to a barber's or anything. I was trying to grow my hair long for ages.
What we see here in Scotland is we cut your
I'm
hair.
kind of bearing in mind, but I've got serious grades coming through on the sides. It's starting to worry me. I think I might have to draw.
I call that your Solomon mark, mate. Don't call it grade. Isn't that what they call them? The Solomon mark? Or the touch of Solomon or something? Isn't that what Charlie Beach weekend?
I was looking up some of that stuff.
Oh,
I'm talking about it. The Freemasons, and there's always this kind of like, you know, like if there's something like there's a vaccine that goes wrong, it's kind of it's the Illuminati, it's the Freemasons, it's the Jesuits. There's always somebody, you know. One of the areas I did the research was the Freemasons. I've researched like aliens and all kind of shit. Like who is it that's doing all this crap? Then like, I researched a bit of the Freemasons. I don't think they're like as bad as what they're made out to be, you know, but they are very secretive, so they could be real up to like some shit that nobody knows about. But I think
so just the people that are fucked off with government that much just want to stay keep them the hell away from me.
I heard that a while back. Like, it was like, during like when society was changing from agriculture to industry. One rumour of how the Freemasons started was that like, a group of folk were like, well, we don't belong to the feudal masters anymore, so we'll just kind of like wander about and do our own thing, kind of, and they formed their secret societies through that. But the official shit say it's like about building like Solomon's Temple and shit like that. So I don't know whether it does go back or whether they're just bullshit or what, you know.
I'm not sure about all of that, Jazz, but I know that there's something about that temple over, or with a temple on the dome on the rock or whatever, that needs to something or other get destroyed before whoever can build the next temple in the same spot or something or other. Isn't there some crap about that going on?
That's what I was. I know about the religious significance of that temple. Like when the
where it's built on.
Babylon, but the temple get kind of destroyed by the invading Babylonian army, and
the Romans destroyed it in AD 73.
Time and they turned to Judea for like 100 years or something. Then the Romans trashed it, and ever since they're kind of like, let's build a temple. But
isn't there something about that being destroyed in the end times as well? And it's just kind of ironic that we're in, or not we, but those mad cunts that like to try and drop bombs on everybody are doing it over in Syria at the moment, which wasn't that Babylonian in the old times, wasn't?
Supposedly they're meant to the Jewish religion is meant to be trying to bring back their own Messiah, and the only way they can do that is if they're persecuted by practically every nation on earth. If they get persecuted,
okay.
that's when their Messiah comes back to save them. That's my basic gist. That's what I've picked up anyway by reading it. That's their goal, is to cause as much trouble as possible, so everybody persecutes them and their Messiah comes to save them.
Okay.
Madness.
Order out of chaos.
That's it, Mark. Aye. Well, James back.
I know a guy that he was brought up Jewish, right, and then he found out family secrets, and he found out that he wasn't Jewish at all, and he's basically convinced that the whole Jewish thing is just bollocks. Like there's nobody that's actually a Jew. It's just a bunch of people that at some point have been sort of like convinced. Like, I don't know, for example, maybe folk escaping Nazi Germany at the time when the Allies were invading, they'd have maybe ran out of Germany claiming to be Jews. Now their family hides that secret and the children don't even know their own history, kind of thing. But you know what I mean? There's various things like that that could have happened in the past where families suddenly they've hid for their children that their true origins weren't Jewish and have pretended to be Jewish. So it might well be nobody's actually a Jew. But that was just like one guy that was telling us that was like his story, you know, and he's convinced that Jews are actually real.
Watch your videos by Jack Otto. He does a video, it's about an hour long, and he tells you it's the history of Khazars. Jews that are about now, there's only 2% it's real Jews. I can't remember the name of them, but the ones that are going about now, I think they're called Ashkenazi Jews, 98%. They've not got any Semitic blood in them at all. Their ancestors never stepped foot in Israel.
So they're neck and neck with redheads then?
The way Jack Otto explains it was, they were caught between, the guy was called Shagan, that was a king of about 80 million people on the steppes of Russia, and it was Islam coming up from the south and Byzantine Christianity coming from the west. And this guy says, if we take up either one of these, we're going to get took over by him and we'll be disseminated, will be nothing. So he decided to join the Jewish and make his people all Jews. It wasn't like a conversion because they loved God. It was a conversion out of survival.
Politically.
That's Stephen, exactly. It was a political decision. But these guys were just a bunch of warring kings of the West used to hire them as mercenaries. Listen to Jack Otto, it's an hour long and he tells you basic. It's quite good. Don't get me wrong, I didn't know anything about his target online. It's probably like the rest of these. You thought everything was hunky dory till you started hearing other stories. It's an eye-opener.
A lot of stuff which you don't actually know for a fact. Like, the truth is, just because somebody says, like, reptilians have conquered the world, it's true, you know.
I agree with you totally, mate. You've got to use a bit of...
Oh, yeah. You can take that information though that you may have just heard there from Tony though, and then you can go and try and back that up with other sources and do your own due diligence. But that's just I suppose up to each individual, isn't it?
That's it. It's all written word. It's written word for man. So how the fuck do you know what's fucking true and what's not?
There's quite a few things. I think Eustace Mullins was another one that spoke about it. There's quite a few. And they're all basically saying the same stuff. Whether they're all getting their same notes from the same source, I don't know. But that's the story. This is going back. I think when he's talking about the Khazarian Empire, this is like 1,000 years ago, maybe longer. That's how far back this has went.
Well, that's all new to me. That one. I haven't looked into that.
This is the thing, but Tony, you know what I mean? It's all written by man, so how the fuck can you believe what is wrote by man?
I know. Everybody say there's always that wee percentage of a doubt is always there. Is a person telling the truth, and has he got an agenda, or is he getting paid to do this sort of stuff?
Exactly.
Let's see how we always question the veracity of what somebody says, right? I think it's actually stupid to question the veracity because, like, suppose Mark says, I don't know, like, he owns ferrets. Just I've picked that out of randomness, right? Now, either he's telling the truth or he's not telling the truth, but he might even believe that he owns ferrets, but he only believes he owns ferrets because some bullshitter told him that a Labrador was a ferret. So he's actually done something false, but he actually believes it to be true. Do you know?
And I'll fight tooth and nail that fucking Labrador's a ferret till the end of my fucking breath, mate. Yeah.
It's almost as if we get this perception in our heads and we say, look, that perception is definitely true, and we just masturbate our perception so much to the point where it makes us unhappy to feel that our perceptions could be challenged. Do you know what I mean? But
exactly.
They just open their minds to the idea that maybe our perceptions just a whole load of bollocks that wasn't true in the first place. You know, that's something I've found anyway, that like, most of the stuff that I thought when I was like 10-year-old is just, it turned out to be complete bollocks, you know. And then I found new things attached to new ideas, and then I found complete bollocks as well, you know.
Aye. You can't believe anything because history is wrote by the winners.
Yeah, and you guys noticed that the fact being that most of the science fiction shit you heard as a kid actually turned out to be somewhat factual these days.
It's still coming out.
Star Trek.
You know? So if fiction's becoming fact, so what was fact? It must have been fiction. Everybody was living in a fucking dream and woke up.
Maybe that's his big secret.
Beam me up, Scotty.
But Stephen was saying when you're challenging people's like belief systems and that, or even they say something and you're questioning it.
Your mic's awfully quiet.
Is it, mate? Sorry, hold on a wee minute. Any better?
Really? But
I'll listen. Cheers. What you were saying there, but when you're questioning somebody's beliefs or they're putting it, they take it as a personal insult. They're taking it as if you're calling them a prick or something, or you're challenging their family. You know what I mean? It's all you're doing is asking them questions about what they're saying, and they automatically jump to you're not the cunt at me, and they jump to defensive and start getting aggro. It's fucking, it's madness.
It's the whole communication thing, man. People aren't too certain on how to ask each other questions anymore. You know, it's that whole you thing. Unless you're talking to a group of people, if you're just having a one-on-one conversation, you notice there's always these marriage breakups, and they'll sit there in the counselling office, and he'll go, well, it's because you did this, and she'll go, nah, fuck off, it's because you did that. And the counsellor's going, look, there's this power structure called a pyramid, and you're both trying to fight to get at the top instead of realising it's a circle and everything rotates, and you should be, you know, if you've ever been through counselling, this is some of the shit they try to use on you. And then you realise, oh, well, let's just not say you anymore. And that takes the accusational or the accusatory phrase out of the sentence. And then, like you say, you put it in a question form. Oh, so do you believe that? Oh, well, where did you get that information from? But people will go, oh, are you calling me a liar? You think I'm full of shit? And you go, no. Where did you get the information from? It's not that you're questioning. You just want to. I suppose it's a way of explaining that you only want to know the information. You don't want to know. You're not questioning his belief and such, because you know no one has the right to judge another person's belief. You can believe whatever you want, and I'll believe whatever I want, and we'll agree to disagree.
Sometimes, but they don't even have a bit of question.
No one has the right to force a belief onto another one, unless they try and do it through manufacturing.
Say like to a certain extent, I'm allowed to mug you. I think I've got the right to challenge beliefs like that. Do you know what I mean? It's like a certain belief. Like, I don't know. I believe a ferret's a Labrador. I don't have the right to challenge that belief, even though I think it's wrong, kind of thing. But if somebody's belief, like, say like these, like the stereotypical Islamic terrorist kind of thing, right? I don't know if such people exist or whether it's just bullshit or what. But like, if one of the guys actually did believe that he's got the right to chop my head off or something like that, I think I've got the right to challenge beliefs like that.
Oh, absolutely, because he's challenging your personal space and your property and your belief to be alive.
Aye.
Yeah, I mean, that's where you get coming to the old harm and injury thing. That guy's gonna, you can give him fair notice. Hey, you're stepping on my fucking toes. Get off, or I'm gonna, stop you. I suppose it's, as opposed to just believing in like I don't know, a religion, or a power structure, or a society, or that a piece of paper overrides a natural right. Something like that. Which is the whole thing right throughout. That's it. They got bits of paper that believed they were allowed to kill a whole heap of people, so they did it. Didn't work for them too well, but and now we've got it again. Executive orders. So now this fictional thing can come and take over and control. We've got these acts and legislature written in some fucking language that I don't understand.
Things I think, like, to some extent, like they're right, and to some extent they're wrong. It's like I think there is truth hidden in the religious text, but they've all been kind of like bollocksed up by like political people. It's almost as if like the stuff they're saying is kind of like like some of the stuff they're saying is just like philosophical, logical deductions about the nature of reality. And they've put it down on paper, and all these folk have been going, oh, very wise man, let's worship very wise man, But they've not actually thought about the deep philosophical things that have been discussed. And then on the basis that there's some ideas in this guy, they've started killing people and stuff.
If you watch the first part of Zeitgeist, then you'll get where all this religious shit comes from. The first part of it, I don't care about the rest of it. If you watch the first part of Zeitgeist about religion, then you'll get it.
I see, who do you call the guy, the architect guy? I think he's wise, but see that Peter Joseph, he hasn't got a clue. He get challenged by, I'd call anarchist Larkin Rose to a kind of debate thing, and Peter Joseph was just basically something that didn't have a clue. He was the guy that created the Zeitgeist movie, and to be honest with you, it just sounded, when I sort of seen what the guy was like, to me, he was like more bullshit than actual facts and thought. Do you know what I mean?
No, but I just mean the first part of it. See, the first part of it about Zeitgeist.
Well, the similarities in religions.
It's all paganism at the end of the day.
See, Jordan Maxwell, I've never heard of some of his stuff. He kind of says like the three kings coming to visit Jesus was an allegory of three stars that are in the southern hemisphere. They arrive at certain times of the year, and he's saying that a lot of the stuff that's in the Bible is just allegory, and not just the Bible, but the Torah and stuff like that. It's just allegory for stuff that's happening in the skies. I think, but to some extent, the nail on the head, but there's also other stuff that I think, do you know what I mean? I'll question some of the stuff that, I'm not going to idolise Jordan Maxwell or Peter Joseph any more than I would idolise Maxwell or something like that. I'll question them. And after Jordan Maxwell, that astrotheology thing, I would say he's got very a clue than what Peter Joseph has. Peter Joseph to me is just like, he's like a salesman, do you know what I mean? He's no...
Jordan Maxwell's quite clever with all of that jazz.
He does all maritime law and all that, doesn't he?
Yeah, birth canals and maritime law.
He's been at that. He's been doing that for 40 years.
I don't agree with everything Jordan said that he has actually thought about what he's saying. Do you know what I mean? He's put some thought into it, and that's like a big difference between. There's a lot of these kind of alternative media people that put no thought into it whatsoever. That's just like sell. Like Alex Jones, for example, he's just there to sell a product. Other guys who are less renowned are like, I mean, they've really put really deep thought into the things that they're saying.
I won't listen to anybody that's selling anything. Or you have to subscribe to.
No, if you put a price on a truth, you're as bad as the ones that's withholding it. That's what I think anyway. I don't think you can put a price on the truth.
No.
And if you do put a price on the truth, it's a total disservice to the human race. The ones that
And
want to...
if they want donations and all, I'm like...
No, I mean, if you know the truth, put it out. When the truth gets out and the system comes down, you might get rewarded for your honesty. You know what I mean?
There's something I've
back.
come recently about this idea of like the truth is free kind of thing, right? And it was like there's an old Chinese philosopher. He says like, people think it's a good thing to give knowledge to people, but in fact it's a bad thing. It causes problems. And for me, it was kind of like, that's a load of bullshit. Because he's a very well-renowned Chinese philosopher, right? And I'm one of these guys that will sit there and question Einstein. You know what I mean? Something like that was bullshit. You see, the more I'm looking at it, like the way things are, like, especially if you're joining Facebook, and it's as if there's like tons of people with tons of knowledge, but like no wisdom. You know what I mean? And I think about what I was doing, I think like maybe he has. There is something. There's some grain of truth in the thing that he's saying. I don't think we should be too free in giving away like knowledge. You know what I mean? Because like, a little knowledge is a bad thing. You know, like let's get the idea. It's bad.
But then again, who puts the censors on the knowledge in? But that's us getting back into the same stuff we're already in now, the same paradigm. You know what I mean? If you're going to, I believe everything should be out. There shouldn't be. No, there should be no. I'm believing everything should be out in the open. Because when you start getting, when people start sitting and over other people and deciding who sees what and who doesn't see what and who learns what and who doesn't learn what, that's going to just cause as much trouble as we're in now. Maybe not right away, but 100 years, 200 years down the line, it's going to be the same shit as we're doing right now. There's going to be a group of people talking about it on computers, or on whatever they've got, talking about how do we get to knowledge. You know what I mean? It's a perpetual thing we're going to keep doing till we face up to the fact that we've got to put everything in it. Everything. Don't get me, I'm not talking about your own personal privacy. What you do in your own house is your private thing. But I mean, if you're in a public office, you've got to show what you know. You've got to tell the truth. You can't teach one school can't, like that Scotstoun school we've got here, they teach their way in something totally different than what I was taught and what you were taught. Sure. You know what I mean? And that's not right. That's not right. That's just my thoughts, lads. I don't know what you think.
Yeah, but again, that's where you're going into what they believe their truth to be and what you believe your truth to be and what the other one believes their truth to be, and they're just preaching what they believe, or they're being controlled in some fashion to preach what they're being told to preach under some greater agenda.
And it comes down to whose truth.
See, the biggest thing I tend to do, especially with my lot here, you know, my little ones, is I tend to just give them the knowledge and they can disseminate, give them the ability to be able to disseminate for themselves without having to have other people's opinions. Not giving a fuck what other people think. As long as they're happy, and as long as they can be self-governing and make up their own mind without other people peer pressuring them to do one thing or another. You know, be themselves first and foremost. If they're not happy with themselves, they can't go out and make anyone else happy or do something nice for someone else and not expect anything back in return just for the sake of being another man, one of mankind on earth, you know. So it's a matter of putting them in the mindset. And then they'll go to school and they'll challenge the authority. Good on them. You know? I fucking love getting called into the school office. I fucking love it. I put that principal right in his spot every time. Look, mate, you work for me. Are you claiming you've got some right to administrate my property? Aren't you supposed to be providing a duty of care? Why is she here and upset and crying? What have you done? Hey? You know, I just... Gary, I asked you a question. I don't call him Mr. Whatever. I just, Gary, oi, you know, because he's the... You've got to remember who's who.
No, I'm not being funny, Mark. See if you were to do that and where I'm from, you get to jail right away. They don't even entertain you, mate. You're handcuffed in Section 2 right away. Honest to God. I get stopped going to, me and my mate were walking to shops to get a paper one morning, 9 o'clock in the morning, and two police in the uniforms in an unmarked car drove by us and smiled. So me and my mate didn't even acknowledge them, we just kept walking, and they came back round, stopped us, asked us to search them, if they could search us, and I was like, no, you're not searching me, I'm not giving you my name and what. So they were arguing with us for about 20 minutes, and it ended up, that's what they says, if you don't let us search you, we're going to section 2, you take you down to the station and we'll get everything we need for you. So I ended up letting them search us. And the following day, I was walking down to get our papers again. Same two police stopped us and searched us again. You know what I mean? And it was just because they could. But and see, when they were searching us, I says to them, I was like, this is fucking ridiculous. And they says to us, like, you swear again and we're jailing you. That's what you've got, that's what you've put up with here. It's no, we've not got any jurisdiction here.
I tend to. I don't actually leave our private property that much. I only go out once a week to do the shopping, and the rest of the time I'm here looking after my family and my wife, and you know, doing whatever I want to do. But you know, so I tend to not have a lot of interaction out there in the public, you know. But
no,
what interaction I do, I tend to always make sure that I'm on a level playing field from get-go. I just go, look, man, I'm just a man like you, right? And you go, yeah, so you're my equal, yeah, right, okay, so now that we're on this equal level, where do you derive your authority over me? Sorry? I need evidence of that before we want to discuss whether or not I can swear my fucking ass to you. You know, if you want to start telling me what I can and can't utter out of my own bloody mouth, do you want to tell me where you derive the authority? Are you claiming I've done you harm? Is there a verified claim, mate? You want to go to court over this? Here's my fee schedule. If you want me to play ball, here's my fee schedule. How can I take your order? You'd like to arrest me? Sure. So how many hours am I going to be arrested? Well, that'll be a bill for, okay. You want me to provide a service? You want me to be a member? You want me to be a you? Here's my bill for acting in that capacity for you. Because I'm a man, mate. I don't do shit for free. Yeah, he's getting paid for doing his. He's getting paid for acting in his capacity while he's interacting with you. So if he wants you to go down to that level and step into that two-dimensional realm, you have every fucking right in the world to charge for you acting in whatever capacity he wants you to act as. Or he wants you to produce something that he needs to see for his legal requirement within some act of a legislation within a society that's governed by a law society that's not written in fucking English. And he wants you to go ahead and play that role. Okay, well, first of all, you create Sojourner. This is what you is. That's what I believe. Do you believe I'm a you? Do you believe I'm a person? If so, what type of person? Do you believe I'm a legal person? Do you believe I'm a natural person? According, you know, now if you confer meaning I don't necessarily agree with it, meaning it's within your society. So if you'd like to confer, not see, or refer to, but confer to Interpretations Act 1999, Section 29 through 30, it states a person is either Interpretations Act, corporation, sole, or unincorporated body. It says includes, which means nothing else is included. So, as includes an exclusionary term, yeah? So, you're saying I'm a person, so which of those 5 options is it? And what can you produce to back up your claim?
See, when you've used these arguments...
Oh, well, fuck them over, mate.
See, when you've used these arguments to police officers, obviously, or police constables. See, when you start... I
just know the language.
See, when you start saying what you're after saying to us there, did they get a blank look on their face?
Yeah, and then they go, I don't understand.
But surely they should understand this if they're no, they're trying to bring...
I'll say, I'm just a man, and he'll go, oh, I don't understand you.
But if they're trying to arrest you for it, they should know the law before they can...
Yeah, but I don't do anything that they need to arrest me over.
No, I know, I understand
I'm not doing anything wrong.
But what I'm saying is, if they're trying to... They should know the law before they try to discharge it. You know what I mean? They shouldn't just be able to walk up with a bit of paper.
I'll ask them, do you know the difference between lawful and legal? The last one said no. Okay, so he just proved he doesn't know, and he's telling me, spouting off these legal requirements, and I'm asking him if that's legal, and he goes, well, that's a legal requirement. Oh, okay, and is that lawful? And he'll go, well, yes. can you tell me the difference between legal and lawful? No. Then so you can't actually tell me or articulate to me in any fashion what you're trying to enforce.
That's madness, isn't it? That's total madness.
Like, he introduced himself as Constable Neil Winterbottom, right? Okay, cool. He introduced himself as a constable, so I'm just going to accept his oath of office without even going into the argument whether or not he's under his oath, because he said he's a constable. So then on the infringement notice, it says that I failed to produce, or sorry, it says that you failed to produce a driver's license for the immediate inspection of an enforcement officer. So I just go ahead and ask him a question. When did you change from your capacity of a constable into an enforcement officer? Because you're saying you're one thing, and then you're wearing a different fucking hat and trying to enforce an administrative rule of society upon a person that clearly wasn't there at the time, because I was just a man. Do you get it? It's knowing the words, but being able to put it in a way on paper that they can't possibly respond to unless they fuck themselves over in doing so and commit fraud in the process, and then you got them. They don't want to know. They will just drop it and run. This cunt's not worth the shit.
That's what pisses me off, but see when you turn their own laws against them, they don't like it. No, I mean, that pisses them right off.
Their rules apply to them. Their rules apply to them. We doesn't include me, myself, and I. Or, you know. And the very first question is always, who are you? So they've always identified who this you character is from the get-go.
Tony B.
Yes, James.
Man. Tony B, man. I'm off.
I'm going to crash in all, lads, because it's late here. What time have we got?
Honestly.
So there was a bedtime story for you guys.
Mark, it was a pleasure, mate. It was a pleasure.
Always, mate. Always a pleasure.
Stephen,
good talk. Honestly, good talk.
Right, James, see you later on, buddy.
See you later, Tony.
Stephen, see you later, mate. Cheers. Bye, Mark.
Bye.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Nice chatting. See you, James. Are you going too, James? Yep, James gone. So just you and me, Steve.
Oh, yes, that's it. I'm sort of half looking at my Facebook that was going on, but it's kind of getting late as well. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning here, and I've got work in the morning, so I might as well do it as well.
I'm going to stop the broadcast and knock it on the head and go and get some work done for this afternoon before the kiddies get home.
Right. See you later, then.
It was nice. Yeah, nice catching up with you, Steve. Have a good one. See you, buddy. Well, it's the end of the Zen Room for today, or for this evening, or early morning for the UK watchers. At the same time, tomorrow I might even run it earlier. Let you all know through the invites or through YouTube. Enjoy. Hope you have a great day or great evening or whatever fuck time is wherever you are. See you guys.